Hey guys, this is Holden from H-Bomb Fitness, and today we're going to talk about patella tracking and what a lot of those injuries related to patella tendonitis, quadricep tendonitis, how that kind of comes about and what you can do to alleviate that. So basically inflammation is just, particularly with the patella, it's just overuse. You know, you're using your knees all day. If you're an athlete, you're jumping, running, doing a lot of explosive workouts, and that just simply causes inflammation. Inflammation is a natural healing process your body goes through, and it's actually essential for healing. People usually take anti-inflammatories for pain, but in reality, you don't want to take those because you want it to be inflamed, because actually that's what's healing your body. And yes, you want to use ice after you work out to decrease the inflammation, but you don't really want to really interfere with that healing process. So if you take a look at your knee, you have the patella right here, you got your quads, all that, and a lot of quadricep tendonitis is just overuse. And there can be a lot of different things that can go wrong. This is why you probably want to see a physical therapist. For me, I had it. I really had to strengthen up my quads and glutes, and let me tell you why. So if you watch my IT band video, your IT band, your glutes, your quads, hamstrings, those really play a part in how this is all going to move and where its placement is going to be. For me, I had weak glutes and some weak quads. So what that was doing is I just didn't really have any stabilizers in my knee. And what your glute does is if you really strengthen up your glute medius, glute maximus, that really helps stabilize your knee and bring your knee in correct alignment. And your quad and your IT band, you don't want to have that constant battle. And usually your IT band will be a lot tighter just because it's a lot harder to stretch. So what you have to do is you have to kind of tighten up your quad and loosen up your IT band. That's not for all cases, but that was what in my case, because it was kind of shifted all this way and I need to kind of bring it back here. So also, a lot of people don't think about, and I tell a lot of people about this, is biomechanics. If your feet, for me, I have partial flat feet. If you have flat feet or your hips are out of line, your knee is just pretty much the intermediate between those two. If you have flat feet, you're overpronating, your knee is just going to go in with that, and then your hips, your back, your shoulder, I mean, you can just screw up your whole alignment. So you should, if you're having that issue and you've been doing all your exercises, you should really take a look at your feet, hips, because usually the knee is a very simple joint. There's very few things that go wrong with knees actually. There's just two bones that are connecting it, and a few ligaments. If you look at your foot though, there's lots of bones. So you really want to check out your feet mechanics and your hip mechanics, and then you can assess the knee. In most cases, the knee does not have any issues, maybe besides a little quad weakness, but that doesn't have anything to do with the actual biomechanics. So that's like the first thing I would look at and tell people if they had some knee pain. I'll tell them, you gotta take a look at your feet, because for me, I have partial flat feet, so if I have an arch right here, it's going to pronate in, and my knee's going to go with that. And that's why I have knee pain. It wasn't because I had a bad knee. It was just the knee was the intermediate between my hips and my feet. So I highly recommend going to a physical therapist. There's a few adjustments they can do to your hips, which just totally help. It's awesome. And there's feet adjustments. You don't want your feet going out, because then that puts a lot of pressure on the inside of your knee. You want your feet perfect straight, perfect alignment. You can simply do that to help that by just, when you're standing up, make sure your feet are straight, not like duck feet. In the meantime, what you can do is I really recommend strengthening your quads, not with machines, by simple exercises. You lay down, flatten out your knee, lift it up, and hold that for about 20 seconds. After that, switch knees, hold 20 seconds. That'll be a really good burn. What else you can do for your glutes? Turn on your side, bend your bottom leg, straighten your knee, and do glute raises. This really activates your glute right here. And what I recommend for those is doing called dead reps. So you basically just do them until you can't do anymore. And for those, you probably do 50 maybe, and you're donezo. So what I'll do is I'll bring up that patella from a quad strengthening and stabilize your hip from your glutes. Alright, and then when you do that, really stretch out your hamstrings. Your hamstrings have a lot to do with your knee. Like ACL injuries, a lot of people have hamstring issues with that. Stretch your hamstring. You can strengthen it, and that's good. Good to have strong hamstrings, but you also want to counter that with a lot of stretching. And then IT band stretches. Just foam roll that on your IT band. So the idea here is to loosen up this knee, but also create some stability. What else you can do is balance board. This is a Reebok balance board. Just step on it, put your feet on it, and do one-legged stabilized movements. What I like to do with it is get a semi-squat when you're on it, because that really activates all of your knee, and that creates that stability. And you want to create that arch in your foot, because you want to have proper alignment when you're doing it. Alright, so the whole idea here is to really stretch out everything. Stretch out your quads, but strengthen them as well. And you want to really work on muscles that you probably don't have a lot of emphasis on. A lot of people always stretch their hamstrings, but maybe this time focus on your IT band or your glutes. Something a little different. But tendonitis, obviously it needs rest. There's actually been some studies that for your actual tendon on your knee or throughout your body, it needs about 3 months to repair, to fully recover. And a guy like me, probably everyone, 3 months without activity, jumping, beach volleyball, what I like to do, I can't think of that. That'd be too hard. I love to be active. So if you can do that, fit that in your schedule, and just not do anything for 3 months, that would be great. But in the meantime, you have to really keep your body on top of it with a lot of stretches, strengthening exercises. Now, it's kind of what pro athletes go to. A lot of them have a lot of injuries because they don't have that time off to really have their body heal. So in the meantime, you have to ice, stretch, and just really strengthen it. But for quadricep tendonitis and patella tendonitis in general, you really got to work on that quad, your glutes, loosen up your IT band, loosen up your hamstrings, but also, one thing I forgot to mention is you want to have strong calves. And not strong in the sense that you can, do calf raises with 500 pounds, but stabilizing calf raises. So maybe go on a step and just do some. But, I'm not asking to do a couple hundred, just you really want to get that nice lengthening, but also that rising of that arch. And that would be it. Also ice after activity, don't ice before. Even heating is not the best thing. I take a lot of hot tubs, that actually does help that inflammation process, which is good. But heating wouldn't be the primary option to do right now. Icing would be the first option. But I really recommend going to a physical therapist if you are experiencing that problems, because usually it's a biomechanical issue. And yeah, there are some adjustments you can kind of do on your own. I've learned a few, but like trying to adjust your hip into a correct alignment is not the easiest thing to do. So just a checklist of what you should do. That you should do a lot of stabilizing stuff with balance boards, foam roll your IT bands, strengthen your quads and glutes. But overall, have a good warm up before any activity. Stretch, but don't stretch for too long before an activity. But really keep that knee in a good, proper alignment. But also just take good care of it. Just always stretch. You can't go wrong with stretching, really. So that's my little gig for quadricep tendonitis and patella tendonitis. Just really keep those muscles, be proactive about it. So this is Holden from HMOD Fitness, and I hope that video helped. See ya.